Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today in the show of the attorney Margaret W. Wong, who has been working on this immigration field for over 45 years and helping thousands and thousands of families across the country in more than 9 cities of the United States. And today we have Ms. Wong with us answering your immigration questions, clarifying some of the concerns that people may have regarding to immigration. So if you have any questions, please don't forget to send your question, write them down on our Facebook Live, or you can also call the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for having us today. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And today, I just read in the news that Venezuelans are becoming the new coyotes in the southern border, uh, trying to help people cross the river and charging a lot of money.
Oh, I'm
So,
so sorry about that.
and I know I'm from Venezuela, but this is something really embarrassing for me because um, that's what I'm fleeing from. It's like I came to the United States because I didn't want to deal with that anymore, and now this situation is bringing people that are exactly the ones that I came fleeing from. So, Ms. Wong, is there a way that the government of the United States or the government of Mexico could stop this coyote thing?
There are laws called illegal transport, and also that's what we call 6E. So anytime, let's assume a mother bring the two children into America, we all do it. We come work, safe, and go back and come back with two kids. So if that happens before April of 20 April of 2017, you are still okay. But anytime is after April 2017, like for the Indian people, for the Chinese people, for the Latino people, that's what we call 6E. If I only took my husband or my family or my child to America, then you can still file for a pardon, a waiver. But if I bring anybody who's not related, there's no waiver. You never get green card. So there are laws preventing that. But most of these people, the amount of money is so huge. At least if they transport only the South Americans, because people there are poor, they pay not that much. Like for Mexican, about 8 or 10,000 to about 12,000, but they pay about 15,000 if they come illegally, but more in comfort. But if they go through the line, it's about 8,000. If they pay, I mean, we know other market prices because I do this kind of work. I always ask people, oh, how much did it cost you to come to America? But for Chinese to do that, nowadays it's reduced because most Chinese are not coming. But the ones who still want to come are the Indians. It runs anywhere between 50,000 one person to 60, 80,000 US dollars. So it's a lot of money there. And worse is, even though it's cheaper as a Latino to bring them in, they bring a lot more. It's not like for Indian in China and Russia, Uzbekistan, they have to come, different routes at different flights. Sometimes they go to Thailand, sometimes they actually go to Cuba and come. They have to pay for hotels. So all that money is split up in hotel fees and stuff because they call that etiolong. That means a whole dragon. That means that from beginning to end, they all, they take charge and they have like each step of the way that people helping. So it is a lot, a lot. I mean, I know of actually 20, 30 years ago, we call them, but you and I call them illegal. We have people actually thank them. They work hard to bring the whole family over, give them a way out of China, out of India. So there are two ways to look at this. But I can tell you there's a lot of money. I think sometimes it's even more lucrative than drugs or guns and stuff, because drugs and guns, you easily get caught. I mean, transporting people also get caught, but sometimes we are so scared we don't say anything. I have clients who said, I just hide, I ran because I don't even want to give American border people information, because what happens if they're in cahoots for the coyotes? Then they'll kill me, So it's horrible. And you're right, Mr. Juan. We don't know what to do with it because the U.S. attorney can only do so much. The border people can only do so much, and there are people on the take. I mean, don't think America is innocent. There are CBP officer, ICE officers that at that border is so corrupt. Who knows what's going to happen? You know.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's a difficult situation that we are facing in the United States with, I wouldn't say about the immigration, but about the massive immigration that sometimes come, and some of them die on the way. Many people, and I know a story of a guy that came a few weeks ago and he didn't know how to swim. So the person or the coyote dropped them off next to the river, and it was a very deep part of the river. And he says, I was drowning, and somebody came and helped me out and passed me to the other side. But I didn't know how to swim. He caught his feet with stones from the bottom of the river, and it's really a hard situation. And I understand some people want to do this, but you know what happened last week with the big truck where 53 people died, and the other accident where 13 people died, other accident 3 people died. So some of them running away from the border patrol. So it's hard, but sometimes people want to do it their way, and there's nothing we can do as well. And well, we have a first question today. This person says, is it worth it to renew my C08 work permit, or wait for my son's request for me to be ready and wait?
Absolutely worth it if your case is still pending, either with CIS with the court to extend it. Have nothing to do with the son's request. If your case is already in court, you have to wait for at least 1.5 years after the son become 21 and then filed I-130. And then with that I-130, you can terminate the case, maybe go back to immigration, but maybe keep the case in court. It will take forever. The whole COIL memo, the April 25th, 2022 memo to dismiss cases, to terminate or admin close cases, though that is gone last weekend. So no more dismissal or termination, unless you look at totality of circumstances. You can still ask for dismissal and terminate, but now you have to give them equities, reason why, and stuff like that. That memo is gone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And for everybody who is joining us now, we are connected with the attorney Margaret W. Wong, who has over 45 years of experience working on the immigration field and helping thousands of families every single year. She has offices in 9 cities of the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Minneapolis, Memphis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one: 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. A very interesting question right here, Ms. Wong. I missed my court and would like to reopen it if it's possible. Can I recover for missed court?
Okay, that's a very good question. You're talking about what we are talking about is in absentia final order. So you missed it. Did you miss it because you were sick? Can you get a medical report? Did you miss it because you have a flat tire? Did you miss it because the traffic was too bad, or you forgot to tell your lawyer, or you went to a wrong building? So these are all good reasons. Where you're a minor at that time, they'll really help. So the question is, can I reopen it in absentia? So you have like 3 months, 6 months, the 180-day rule, that if it's extraordinary circumstances. In the olden days, it's harder to open. Now it's a little bit easier, more because of the PD memo from COIL, but that's gone also. So you want to look at the totality of circumstances, and did you not get notice? And where did the notice go? If you moved, did you inform the court? Did you file the E33? Because there are two ways to inform the court. You either do the AR11 to go to USCIS and go on the web, the AR11, because that doesn't apply to, at least if you do it, then you can say, I didn't know that I have to do a change of address, which is a E33 with the court. So depends what happened, the reason, when, where, why, how, you couldn't get a ride, you were scared. So all that. So yes, the answer is yes, but you need to do the FOIA, you need to figure it out why we miss.
Okay, thank you so much. So, what if that court was this year? Is it not too bad?
It's not too bad. Depends on what court. Depends who the judge is. Depends if he's in a good. I won a good case last night. The judge. I
Oh,
asked
you
everybody.
went to court
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. I was in court.
Congratulations.
It was such a. It's not a very easy case, so I figured let me do it. At least I can lose in glory or win in glory. So, I asked everybody, is he in a good mood? Did he have his coffee? Did he have his lunch? So you just have to know that judge and see what's going on with that judge.
Well, congratulations, Ms. Wong, on your comeback to the court day. And we will not forget that because that was on July 6, 2022, when I was turning 38. So
Oh, happy birthday. Oh my
thank you so
gosh.
much, Ms. Wong.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And that's exciting. And I feel like one day I will be able to go back to court as an attorney.
And you will, Mr. Juan.
And
But now you're a new father, you just got married. It's just life is distractive, and your mother is not feeling too well. But you have to push it. You just have to do it, Yeah, I know. I pushed too hard. Yeah.
There are some changes, but we're getting there. And
Mr. Juan's wife is pregnant, for those of you who wants to know, and it's sort of a high-risk pregnancy.
Yeah. Yes. Is in the 3 months already.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks so far so good. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for your support. Okay, so this person is saying, I am from Haiti. I had TPS. Can I renew it? I lost it during the Trump administration because I had a DUI.
Oops. So if you still have the DUI, you would not be able to continue it. So check your DUI, what state it was in. Did you get immigration advisement? Is there any way to vacate a DUI? Because if you could vacate it, then you can get the TPS back. But if not, you couldn't, and I'm very sorry about that.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And don't forget that you can call the attorney Margaret W. Wong if you need help with this case. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Robin is asking through YouTube, how long in an average is it taking now to get green card holders parent abroad, currently abroad, to get green card but have traveled many times on visitors visa? Thank you.
Okay, right. Depends on what country you're from. Mexico is becoming so slow. I won't be surprised it's going to take another 3 years. Another way to do it is because they already have traveled many times on a visitor visa. So another way to do it is whenever they come on a visitor visa, even though the intent at time of entry could not be to apply for green card, but if you change your mind after 91 days, then you can still apply for adjustment of status for green card. So as long as there's a changing of the mind and reason for change of a mind, it doesn't hurt to apply for the green card in America. You can also apply for parole. Once you get parole, your parents can leave and come back, because abroad is really bad. It's very bad, because I just talked to someone from Poland that just came to America. Husband has been a citizen since birth, but the wife never wanted to come now because of the war in Ukraine. They're all coming to Poland now. The wife is really getting scared, wants to come even as a tourist to get away from the war a little bit. She couldn't get a tourist visa now because she never wanted to come, so she never applied for green card. So things are bad out there, and including because also the virus, China, India, Russia. Of course, Russia is bad, but so a lot of these American embassies, they're closing for tourist visa. They may open for student visa, but if you had an old tourist visa, protect it, and just come.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And well, we have another interesting question, but don't forget that you can call the phone number 216-279-3984, 3984. This person says, I have almost 10 months for pending asylum permit, still waiting for work permit. I have a case from you. And I think this person is maybe desperate for getting the work permit, but it's taking very long.
Mr. Patel, thanks for being my client. You have a 10-month, so you have a receipt notice. There's a new law that just came out from Biden because of the slowness of work permit. You need to give your employer or the driver's license the 340-day. If you don't have it, call us. I'll email you a copy. You could print it on the uscis.gov. You could apply for the 1-year automatic extension on driver's license and to show your job. So you get the automatic extension for 1 year, and that's good. And thanks for being my client. It's very nice. Right now it's really slow, but work permit that's filed after February or March of this year is coming in faster. Work permit filed between April and May of last year to about November, December of last year, somehow we're still stuck. But do that automatic 1-year extension and call my office.
Okay, thank you so much to Jagdish Patel. And if you have any other question, you can call 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ms. Wong, I'm going to read this question. This person is asking for privacy to the question, but it says, my husband came illegally in 1994. He is from Guatemala. I am a U.S. citizen and we have been married since 1995. But he had a drug trafficking case back in 1998. He got arrested, he got released, he was never deported. But when we tried to fix his status because of my request, then the FBI came to the house and was getting almost getting him arrested. So I didn't do anything else. That was over 20 years ago. Is there something that we could do now?
Number one, yes. Number one, I don't know if your husband came from Guatemala legally or illegally, because if it's illegal, this is a harder case because that means if he never paroled out, so he didn't have a travel I mean, he didn't have legal entry on a travel document. So this is a 601A case. That means you have to send your husband out for 2 weeks and come back with a drug trafficking charge. As long as it's a drug possession, 30 grams of marijuana or less for personal use, it cannot be for distribution. So, for example, your possession drug for use is okay under 30 milligram, but for marijuana. But anything, even marijuana of under 30 gram, or how many grams for distribution and trafficking is not good, and also it's not fair because in criminal law, conspiracy is different from the actual. So for example, I was stupid, right? So I talked to the undercover cop on buying some cocaine. And people do that all the time. I mean, in the bad areas, in the red light area, or they do that in the olden days. When it first started, we do a lot of cases where the Russian, it's only $11. It's like the party pill, and it was horrible. But now they have a lot more sophisticated stuff that it really is a controlled drug. So so those cases that you need to look at, number one, get a certified judgment entry. Number two, look at the law at that time or even now, because it was 98. That's a Clinton thing. Clinton said that 3 strike, you are out. People think Democratic Party are so liberal. We are not. So Democrats are not liberal because Clinton is the one who say anytime you're any drugs for distributing, use, sale, possession, conspiracy in immigration law is as the same as actual transaction. It's not like, oh, I offered to offer you money undercover cop. I didn't do it. So it's only a conspiracy because we never exchanged money. We never did the act. And the immigration law is the same. So get the certified judgment, get a copy of transcript, see what's there. If it's Ohio, see the 3 prongs are given. Each state have their own vacate law. It's so long ago. Maybe get sympathetic lawyer or really older criminal lawyer to see if you can get a vacate. then you can do it. The problem is the drug cases, I hope you have no more, because you need only reason to believe. You don't even need an actual conviction. That's a problem with drugs, and that's another Clinton thing. Um, so if it's an illegal entry and never paroled, Guatemala never had, you miss NACARA, because Guatemala and NACARA has to be in the 80s. So these are 601A cases. Those are difficult, but don't give up. Get a certified judgment of that judgment entry, get a copy of transcript. If you have no transcript in Ohio, it's automatic. Maybe you can do a vacate, but talk to a sympathetic lawyer in the court and see if they're willing to vacate for you. That's the first step I would do.
I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
Um, I understand that some people come here because they have a need, but this is just my reflection. Why, if you made it here, why are you gonna do wrong stuff? You should start a new life and try to do things correctly. That's my opinion. Is if I made it here, I will take advantage of that. I could make it. Some other people don't do. Some people die on the way. So if you made it here, make sure that you don't do anything. Just like Miss Wong says, don't do anything that you shouldn't do.
Right. I'll
Uh,
be stupid. Right.
exactly, but I like hearing that word from you. It's not like uh, it doesn't have the same effect if I say it. But yeah, that's true. Don't do nothing like that because you didn't come to mess it up here in the United States. And thank you so much, Ms. Wong, because sometimes you have to tell us the truth how we should do here in the United States. The next question is, I have asylum case in New York and I'm living in Indianapolis. So we have tax returns and license ID from Indiana. So my individual hearing is in 2023 October. Is that a problem that I live in a different place where I filed the asylum?
I would do a change of venue because your ID and a driver's license is in Indiana. Indiana actually is not bad. I know Indiana is very, but because Indiana goes through Chicago, Chicago is an excellent, excellent court. They are changing, just like New York. New York actually is getting a lot of new judges. My former partner, Scott Breton, may be a judge in New York. Richard Drucker is already a judge in New York. So, New York is a great, and I know why, because you want to stay the case in New York. But I would see one day if you move back to New York, if not closer to the IH, you may want to do a change of venue. I would not do the change of venue now. It's just too early. Don't touch it. Um, on the other hand, don't give up on asylum. If you file asylum within a year and the narrative is good, there is a chance to win. And I tell my clients that, you just have to shape your narrative and see why. Nobody give up a home like the person that we just talked about, married to a USC, have a drug charge in 1998. Still, we're here. Who wants to go home when we are in America? Or we all want to come to America. So don't think we're going to lose, and don't think you need to keep the case in New York because in Indiana, which is Chicago, you're going to lose. Chicago have a great court. Um, so I think you'll be fine. But look at the story instead of worrying about, should I do change of venue? Those are all procedure. Any good lawyer can help you is to get to a narrative, collect documents to prove why we left. And I don't know what country you're from, but there's some countries it's easier to win than most. And also depends on the era you came to America. So for example, Guatemala, El Salvador, that's why they have TPS, because they went through horrid stuff in the 80s and 90s, and so, and right now Ukraine is going through horrible stuff. So it depends on the era. Some Arabic countries, I mean, that's, yeah, don't assume you're going to lose, because I think you're assuming you're going to lose in India, because I don't think you're going to lose. India, yeah. So if you file within a year, you're okay. You're Patel, you're okay. Yeah, it depends, because more arranged marriages, love marriage, caste, because even Patel, there may be different castes. Yeah, how does your parents feel about things? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget that Ms. Wong has offices in 9 cities of the United States, and she's traveling to Columbus, she's traveling to Nashville, also to Atlanta, and taking care of people in the city of Cleveland, where the headquarters are. In New York, there's a very functional office. Also in Raleigh, North Carolina, Minneapolis as well, and Memphis. And she is traveling to these other cities where she needs to see you face to face and tell you where we are going to do regarding to your immigration case. This next question, Ms. Wong, as of your knowledge, what state is better for asylum cases from Venezuela, Texas or Georgia?
Generally, Georgia had some horrible judges as of 3 or 4 years ago, but that changed. Some of these judges were promoted by Trump to go to Washington, even though they still live in Georgia. Texas, it depends on what court, what judge. You couldn't tell. I couldn't tell between those two. Texas is very also Republican. It depends sometimes. And don't assume because you need a good judge. Venezuela, you have good cases because you're more educated. If you came a few years ago, those are very good cases. There was a time Venezuelans don't come to America. It only started recently, the phenomenon. I won't worry about the court. I'll worry about your case. But both of them are not as good as, like I said, Chicago, New York. Even Boston is coming better and better. There are some good courts and good people, good judges.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And don't forget the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ms. Wong, what is the difference between H2B and H2A visas?
Both of them are temporary working visas. H2A is for certain agricultural or herding of sheep. H2B is for certain kinds of crops and agriculture. But currently, the reason why if I were you, I won't be concerned about if it's a 2 or A. I would be more concerned. So H3 is a spouse of H1, 2, and 4. No, H4 is the spouse of 1, 2, and 3. I would be more concerned about H1 and H3. H3 is more temporary, they're all temporary, but H3 is a temporary training program that you need to sit in a classroom or the employer. So that's more a catch-all for H1 who didn't work it. H2B and H2A, both of them are temporary working visas, more for the Latino people because you don't see a lot of, in fact, no Chinese Koreans, they come on H2A and H2B. Those are more for Latino people. It's only for 2 or 3 months. Right now, I've seen quite a bit of H2B and H2As that's coming from the Monterey American Embassy. And they don't even need to work for these businesses. For them, it's a legal way to come to America. They don't have to sit in jail. They don't have to stay in Mexico, remain in Mexico. They don't have to do the Title 42 policy. But once they come, you're still undocumented. So make sure if you come on H2B and H2A, you make sure you need to work for the same employer at least for a few days to prove it's not a fraud entry. You also should get your social. I've seen people who pay so much money for this visa and you come in, you didn't work for the employer, you're not making money, plus you don't even get your social. You should get a social. You should file tax return because these are good working visas.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget, Ms. Wong is going to be in Atlanta next week on Thursday. She will be here in the city of Atlanta. So just make sure that you make your appointment to talk to her. And the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ms. Wong, this is a very interesting question. Hi, Attorney Wong. I am originally from Colombia. I have European passport, and now I am married to a U.S. citizen.
Yes, this is a very good question because as an American, we also have people who want a European passport. So if you go to Europe, we don't get murdered. They love to murder American people. So yes, you can have once, that depends. Like Israel, you can have 2 passports. So you can have American, Israeli. China, you cannot have 2 passports. Japan, no. Europe, Korea, no. So most older countries, they don't. I've seen a lot of Colombians who have Spanish passports or Portuguese passports. That's okay, but it depends on that country. Another way is like in America, so I became American. I could still keep another passport, even though America don't recognize dual nationality because America have no authority to take away my third passport. So when you go to Europe, you can, but when you come back to America, you have to use American passport. When you, like for example, of my Hong Kong ID, when I go to China, I show my Hong Kong ID because you get things like they will have Chinese, like $2 for this museum, and I read Chinese, so I say, oh, I paid $2, but that's not US dollars, that's Chinese dollars. It's 8 to 1, so I pay like 25 cents in American dollars, but they'll say $2 for English. But I read both, so I know, oh, $2 US dollars because they figure you don't read Chinese. So I always show my Chinese ID when I go back to China and Hong Kong because then I pay everything cheaper, and that's not illegal. But if you have an American citizenship, you need a tourist visa to go back to Hong Kong and China. And if you're an American citizen, I would not use my Hong Kong ID to go to China because I think that's sort of illegal in the eyes of America. But that's only because I came from Hong Kong. I know the Hong Kong and Chinese stuff. So that's a very good question. The answer is yes. Even if you're American, if like Israel, if you get an Israeli passport, but you come back to America, you have to show American passport. You leave America, you have to show American passport.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And well, our time is up. So thank you so much for having us today. You are going to Columbus tomorrow, Ms. Wong?
Yes, I
So
am.
if you want to make your appointment for tomorrow in the city of Columbus, Ohio, just call the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. And Ms. Wong, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm looking forward to see you next week and to learn more from you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't forget that you can call the attorney Margaret W. Wong to the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The attorney Margaret Wong with over 45 years of experience in the immigration field. Thank you so much. My name is Juan Carlos Brando, and see you next time.